The Taliban is tired of their 9-to-5 jobs, right? There were the glory days of the jihad, and now they've had to come around. They've had to, get their desk jobs, work under fluorescent lights, sit in traffic like the rest of us. Well, according to this Vice this Vice article here that we will read right now, they interviewed a bunch of Taliban. We interviewed 5 members from the Taliban to see how they're adjusting to victory, because they took over the land and they got victory. And they ranged in age from 24 to 32 and had spent between 6 and 11 years in the Taliban at different ranks: a Taliban commander, a sniper, a deputy commander, and 2 fighters. Samin said in his piece, after the fall of the Islamic Republic, the men secured jobs for the new government in Kabul. 2 got civilian jobs, and the other 3 got security positions. How's that resume look? You're applying for a civilian job. You're like, yeah, man, I think I can do some data research. We can kind of see which sandwich markets better to the public. Do people want the Egg McMuffin or do they want the Bacon Egg McMuffin? I'll do market research for you. I worked in the Taliban. Lots of leadership skills. Had to manage teams. I had to cook people, so I can cook things, and I had to create strategies, and a lot of that's similar to market strategy. So that's my resume. Yikes. Hazaifa, a former sniper, said life was simple and free during Jihad. All we had to deal with was making plans for Taruz attacks against the enemy and for retreating, he said. People didn't expect much from us. We had little responsibility towards them, whereas now, if someone is hungry, he deems us directly responsible for that. The Taliban used to be free of restrictions, and now we sit in one place, behind a desk, and a computer, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Life's become so wearisome. You do the same thing every day. Being away from the family has only doubled the problem. With how he's speaking, you would think that the Industrial Revolution hit, and this was 1920 all over again. I mean, that's a direct quote. But there's something we'll unravel about the Taliban without trying to glorify the Taliban in a minute. I sometimes miss the jihad life for all the good things it had. Yeah, man, jihad is fun. Jihad, they're out there, it's like camping. You don't really got to do much. Said the 25-year-old Abdul Nafi. In our ministry, not a ministry, there's little work for me to do. Therefore, I spend most of my time on Twitter. We're connected to speedy Wi-Fi and internet. Many people, including me, are addicted to the internet, especially Twitter. Man. So the former jihad guys are sitting at work on Twitter all day. I wonder how they interact with it. Like the Russians interact with it and they create little troll farms and they try to create like problems. Sounds like these guys are just bored. Like, luckily we have good Wi-Fi. We can be on Twitter all day. None of the interviewed men are native to Kabul. They're all men from the provinces who moved into the city after the U.S. left. I haven't brought my family to Kabul, Omar Mansour told Samin. The rent of houses is very high for us since our salary is no more than 15,000 Afghanis, roughly $180, is fully sufficient for Yakhel, but not for Kabul. As soon as, God willing, I have a good salary, I will bring my family here. I'm going to give a quick little lesson to the Taliban. You can get paid for your skills. So my Taliban boys over here, Omar Mansour, needs to get his money up. Omar Mansour only makes 15,000 Afghanis, which is 180 US. I would highly recommend, and this extends to anybody, but this also apparently extends to the Taliban. I would recommend picking up a camera, learning video editing, get on Fiverr. The problem is that you're dealing in the local market. Come on, Omar. You've been dealing in the local market long enough. You overthrew the cities. You destroyed lots of people. It's time to get on Fiverr, Colin needs a TikTok edited for his new song. He lives in Minnesota. You know, it's a Lil Baby remake, if you're wondering. And if you leverage the skill of video and photography and video editing, you can do it remotely. So you can bring your family to Kabul and you can roughly get paid $180 just for the TikTok video. So that's my lesson to the Taliban, man. They need to diversify their skills. Mansu also complained about the traffic. Last year, it was tolerable, but in the last few months, it's become more and more congested, he said. Then he lamented the freedom he lost when the Taliban won the war. In the group, we had a great degree of freedom about where to go, where to stay, and whether to participate in the war, he said. However, these days you have to go to the office before 8 a.m. and stay there till 4 p.m. He's just thinking about the good old days. If you don't go, you're considered absent, whatever that means, and the wage that day is cut for your salary. We're now used to that, but it was especially difficult for the first 2 or 3 months. Who would have thought? If you don't show up to work, you don't get paid. A man named Cameron, probably not said like that, also lamented office life. I'm sort of happy with my job, but I often miss the time of jihad. During that time, every minute of our life was counted as worship. He said, we used to live among the people. Many of us have now caged ourselves in our offices and palaces, abandoning the simple life. I'm very concerned about our people. The real test and challenge was not during the jihad. Rather, it's now. At that time, it was simple, but now things are much more complicated. We are tested by cars, positions, wealth, and women. God forbid we have fallen into these seemingly sweet but actually bitter traps. Bill Maher said, uh-oh. Karen at accounting is showing her ankles. And they're falling into the bittersweet traps. Nafi has also realized how replaceable he is. There is a proverb in our area that money is like a shackle. Now, if we complain or we don't come to work or disobey the rules, they cut our salary. Unlike jihad, now particularly when the battles are long gone and risk is zero, the emirate could find countless people to work with them in return for a salary. Hey, and there's a big lesson we're learning from jihad and the Taliban. Jihad is a calling, okay? And jihad, I wouldn't say good calling, but it's something to fight for. And I think this is kind of where Andrew Tate has taken over. Men nowadays need something to fight for. And when you take a warrior and you put him in a garden, he gets bored. Does that make sense? They have left this simple life, and now they have to work behind a desk. And they pigeonhole themselves. They only had one skill, which was worship and delete people. And now they need to develop more skills to not be replaceable. If they want to stay employed by the emirate, Taliban, reach out. Dude, I'll talk to you about video editing, and you're going to get a little bit of Jesus. But we're going to do a video call because I don't feel safe, right? But yeah, man, that's the Taliban struggle. I think two key things. There is something about the simple life. I don't know how simple their life was, but in our transient culture, we're very much moving everywhere. We're stuck inside, very little sunlight, and we're doing the same thing day in and day out. And while there is a lot of validation to working a 9 to 5, because even if you're not working 9 to 5, you're still working 9 to 5 or 5 to 9, right? There's a lot of validation that it has to be done, and you have to work for your family. How are you modifying your life to where it's like you're not just stuck inside all day? Now the Taliban are getting this later in life, right? They've lived the dream, not my dream. But someone else's. And they're figuring out, I missed the balance. But it's good to know we are not that much different than the Taliban. We need balance in our life. You can't just be working on a computer all day. You must get outside, get in the grass, mix up your routine. And then you need to learn to love what you do. You know, I think the Taliban seems a little entitled here. They feel entitled to not working. like the lazy scum they are. They feel entitled to worshiping all day when your family got to eat. So let's not be entitled. Let's learn to, and you got to roll with the punches, man. What's the jihad that you can find at work? If you guys enjoyed this video, give it a like, subscribe so you don't miss a thing, and comment down below. I want to know what you think. Peace.